Our next destination is the seat of Fars province, the former capital of Iran, the gorgeous city of Shiraz. On the road coming from Tehran, in the outskirts of Shiraz, stands the Quran Gate. From here, you can have a great view of the oasis city that lies in one of the largest basins of the Zagros. 150 years ago, the eminent Hungarian Orientalist Armin Vámbéry, dressed as a dervish in a caravan, could see how the true Muslims fell on their knees, giving thanks to Allah for allowing them to reach this safe haven after the trials and tribulations of traveling through the desert. Shiraz is a city of poets. The statue of poet Kayoué Kermani was made by Abdul Ali Gasrodasti. The citadel that was built in the 1760s stands in the heart of the city. The fortress was commissioned by Karim Khan, who declared Shiraz the capital of Persia in 1750. There are circular bastions at the corners of its 12-meter-high brick walls. One of them is leaning like the Tower of Pisa. The name Shiraz might sound familiar to many after the red wine that's becoming more and more popular. It's actually the name of a Persian grape variety after which both the city and the wine were named. You can still see vineyards in the outskirts of the city. The Shah-Chiragh, or Royal Lamp Mosque, is at the same time the shrine of Reza's brother, the 8th Imam, highly respected by the Shiites. A plethora of shiny glasses and mirrors that almost completely cover the walls are a characteristic feature of Shiraz mosques. Another typical design element is a mosaic-like representation of flowers, primarily roses, on the facades and arches of the arcades, but also on the walls of the mosques overlooking the courts. Sometimes it seems as if the rose trees or rose bushes come to life on the walls of mosques and madrasas, Muslim religious schools, often adjoined to them. The Islamic architecture of Iran borrows many ideas from ancient times. The invasion of Islamic armies and the fall of the Persian Empire ironically led to the creation of exceptional religious buildings. In the new era, art forms such as calligraphy, stucco work, mirror crafts, and mosaics were closely tied to architecture. Archaeological excavations supply ample evidence to support the fact that Sassanid architecture influenced the architecture of the Islamic world. Semicircular and oval arches were very important features in the old Persian architecture, and led Safavid architects to prove their exceptional talent by constructing huge domes. As the German archaeologist Hoof said, the cupola is the ruling element of Persian architecture. The Vakil Mosque was named after King Karim Khan because he actually didn't take the title of Shah, but called himself Vakil, a governor of the people. The twisted monolith columns of the Vakil Mosque are extremely interesting. There are altogether 48 of them. Next to the mihrab, the shrine facing the direction of Mecca, stands the 14-step marble pulpit, the minbar. This is where the mullah calls the congregation of believers to pray on Fridays. In the Vakil Mosque, the main ideologists and religious leaders of Iran are portrayed by photos and paintings. You can also see the familiar picture of Ayatollah Khomeini here. After his death, Ali Khamenei Hojjatul Islam was elected as the main religious leader of the country. His portrait can be seen not only here, but also in official buildings and offices. Iran ranks number 7 on the list of historic monuments, museums, and other cultural sites in the world. The UNESCO also considers the country one of the cradles of civilization. Not far from the mosque is the famous Naranjistan, or in English, the Orange Blossom House of Khorram. the residence of a former governor and protector of Shiraz. Today, Laranjasthan is a museum that belongs to the city and the National Cultural Heritage Foundation. The elaborate artistic workmanship and rich, sophisticated details of the potteries, inlaid ceilings and walls, glass mosaic doors and windows, and fireplace coverings is captivating. A descendant of the owner of the palace writes, "No doubt it's a must-see. Go to Shiraz. Visit this breathtaking museum and see with your own eyes all the culture and elegance that this century-old building represents." There are fabulous places and homes all over Iran that are parts of museums and the cultural heritage. Many people in Iran know what true elegance is and how to live in beauty. Actually, they've known it for centuries, and many generations grew up with that. I think we, in our Western society, have given ourselves so much over to our phobias about how this world is supposed to be and how things must work by our rules that we simply forget that the pillars of civilization and the carriers of tradition are countries like this, like Iran. Another beautiful place not to be missed is the famous Iram Garden, known for its rose garden and cypress trees. The house once belonged to the Gashgai family. Today, it's part of the Shiraz University and the headquarters of the law school. The Vakil Bazaar has more or less managed to preserve its 18th century atmosphere. Originally, 4 caravanserais surrounded the extensive building complex of the bazaar. You can find beautiful creations of Shiraz folk art and crafts in the many hundred-meter-long maze of the bazaar. Fine textiles, shiny gold and silver jewelry, elaborately hammered copper objects, oriental spices, and fresh fruits can all be found in the rich selection of goods. At the first sign of fatigue, it's worth sitting down for some great tea or a piece of traditional cake in any of the friendly establishments. You can buy true copies of ancient Persian coins that are made on the spot. The old bazaar dates back to the era of Shah Abbas. Its layout is one of the best among Oriental bazaars. 74 proportionate arches span the curved alcoves and serve to support the roof structure. The Shrine of Saadi, one of the greatest poets of Shiraz, is located in a gorgeous park. The 13th century poet created rhymes about the pleasures of life. His poems and verse-infused anecdotes written in prose under the title of Gulistan, the Rose Garden, and Bustan, the Orchard, are still taught in the schools of Iran. The most famous poems of Saadi are an intrinsic part of world literature. The English translation of one of his poems graces the entrance of the UN building in New York. When you pass by the modern shrine that was constructed in the middle of the past century, you can reach an underground freshwater canal full of fish, the water of which is traditionally believed to make women fertile. Among Persian poets, Omar Khayyam is the most widely known abroad, but the name of Saadi and Hafiz are equally familiar within the country. The Shrine of Hafiz, the legendary poet of Shiraz, is an octagonal, canopy-like structure that also awaits its consistently large number of visitors in a wonderful park surrounded by a rose garden. Those who know Persian literature are still impressed by the mystic effects of the poems of the 14th century poet.